Hey guys, thanks for joining me. Welcome to Robin Hood Diaries. Happy holiday to those that observe, and happy day to those that don't. And hey, if you don't feel like having a happy day, then screw it, right? I got plenty of those. So anyway, either way, I hope you're enjoying today. It's a quiet day for us. What else is new? But here I am with you. Hey, as my dad used to say, I'm a poet and I didn't even know it. So, speaking of my dad, let's dive in. It was previewed today as Sean being hijinks into a Roman Catholic baptism behind Dad's back. Uh-oh. I think that's exactly what it said. Okay, so let's just dive in because I am keeping you guys way too long with these things, and you probably have much better things to do today than watch me. Not that this is not going to last in perpetuity. So, once upon a time, there were three sisters in rural Dublin, Ireland in 1930, okay? And those were my mother and my two aunts. This was, I've been to the village. It no longer exists. Let's put it that way. And of course, very strict Irish Catholic upbringing. Trained by nuns, crack on the hand if you didn't speak your Gaelic better than your English. So, growing up there, one sister stays in Dublin. One sister goes to America first. My lovely Aunt Bernadette, now passed, with her husband, who's also full Irish. They come to America first. Bernadette is more kind of like, yes, we're Catholic, let's do what we have to do. Mari, my Auntie Mari, who stayed in Ireland, is, the God-fearing, the God-terrified Catholic. Some of them, the typical one. My mother is only Catholic by communion, by baptism, by all those things that she had to go did when she was alive, and just flew out to Cleveland following the middle sister. Took over the scene, ran Bon with Tellers, flew out to Los Angeles, became the darling of Beverly Hills, and dragged her sister out here. And my lovely cousins, whom I adore, one of which is passed, who I was extremely tight with, and I don't want to talk about it. My cousin Johnny, God bless him. So, in the midst of this Cleveland area, my mom, of course, has since, taken over Los Angeles, but I am sent to Cleveland for the summer. This is Cleveland Heights, Ohio. And, again, my Aunt Bernadette was not my Auntie Mari, the God-terrified Catholic, the typical God-terrifying Catholic, or terrified. My Aunt Bernadette, like I said, was just sort of no nonsense, we're Catholics, this is what we do. Yeah, we went to church, right? Okay, so you have to understand, as a Roman Catholic, which my mother was just in name only. It was like she would go to midnight mass, just because she could dress up and see people, maybe network a little in church. Typical Liz. Gotta love her. No, you don't. Well, depending on where you sit, right? So, my Aunt Bernadette, being who she is, knows that within any Roman Catholicism, I don't care if you are a knee-crawling nun, if you were not baptized, you are going to hell. That is just the reality of Catholicism. You could be, anybody. God forbid you could be the Pope, but if you were not baptized, you are going to hell. There's no kind of reborn stuff really in Catholicism at all. So, moving forward. So, being the practical woman that my Aunt Bernadette was, which I do not to this day fault her for, it's a belief system. We'll get into that very briefly. But problem was, my Midwestern father was a Protestant. Dyed in the wool, not practicing, but I know as open-minded and Timothy Leary as my dad was, he died a Protestant. Although, R.I.P., he died from dementia, so, he wouldn't have known what he died as, per se. So, I thought, cousins, that this was on our trip to Niagara Falls. That I got baptized. But now in hindsight today, doing the dishes, I realized it was most probably, you guys, a church somewhere in and around Cleveland Heights. It was a nice church. It wasn't ornate church, but it was not an office like a Christian church. No offense, just kidding. But it was a church. It was a Catholic church. Very quick, very easy breezy. I didn't have to get dressed up. I did it in a t-shirt. Aunt Bernadette was there. My cousins went up to the pedestal, blah, 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 splash, splash. As long as it's done by a Roman Catholic priest and it's in church, well, it doesn't really actually have to be in a church, but mine was. It's done. Boom, boom, lickety-split, move on. Let's go to the drive-in and have ice cream. But Dad found out. Now, Dad, my papa, was, so devoted to me in his own special way. He literally wrote letters to me every day that whole summer in Cleveland. And he illustrated them like no book you have ever seen. It's like opening up a colorful Alice in Wonderland, every letter. So, be that as it may, he finds out, of course, following this summer with my aunt, my Uncle Jack, and my cousins, that Bernadette went and baptized Sean a Catholic. My dad's a Protestant, not practicing, but my dad went off the deep end. He accused my aunt of like withholding letters from me and like it was just beyond. He got over it, but that was a bone of contention for him for quite some time. Baptized Catholic behind my back. He wasn't obsessed with it, but he made sure that no one forgot that I was absconded to a church and, defiled by a Catholic priest. So that's what happened basically on that end of it, right? Now, what would be the upshot